Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Batwoman Season 2, Episode 7, You Need to Stop Digging. I'm guessing that's going to be aimed at Alice or just everyone looking for Kate. There's a lot happening. Ryan's relationship with Genevieve? Oh my god, her name. It's something like that. It's fallen apart, but most importantly, Ryan is currently dying from kryptonite poisoning and we need to fix that. So much is happening. I love this show. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go. Oh dear. Oh god. Ah.
Kryptonite just entered her brain.
Me too, that was stressful.
I didn't think you had it in you.
Oof.
You really shouldn't be thinking at all, Tatiana.
Oh dear.
It's not your strong. The outsider, we have no use. She is my prisoner. I will deal with her.
She saw a damaged person she could manipulate even further.
4 of my men.
She convinced my entire family I was dead while I spent the last 11 years.
Yep, this is the point where she could have done with extensive therapy.
And here you are. But she wanted to harness the rage we had for Catherine by...
Can you believe any of this?
Soldiers. There are very few rules on our island. No leaving, no stealing the desert rose. And if Sophia wants something, she gets it. And
So
Sophia
Alice broke all those
wants
rules.
your loyalty.
I think we need to ask my dad to bring a flower back with Kate.
If he finds the map, and if he gets there in time, not to mention...
This is very stressful. Ryan? Oh god.
Books, food, electricity, and Sophia likes to keep it that way so that you stay close and
Accurate.
and uninspired.
I'm guessing Alice changed his outlook on the world.
She did them a favor. You said they looked for a year. You weren't going to be found. What were they supposed to do? Sit around and be miserable for the next decade? Is that really what you want? The family you supposedly
He
love
spoke some truths.
so much? You don't need to learn how to fight, Alice. You need to learn how to feel.
She never does. Is he going to help her get to a place where she can be redeemed? Because I'm here for that. After everything she's done, I don't know what that looks like. Oh my goodness. Ryan. Sweetheart, you're having radioactive traumas.
How do you know my name? And are you okay?
Hey, where's your wine opener?
You'll find him in Coventry. I'll give you a head start.
Oh god. Oh Ryan. Oh god.
I can take the Batmobile.
I've never driven it before.
I've never driven your car before.
No.
Oh. Mary, Luke. Mary gets away.
Hell yeah.
Quick, Mary. Alice is responsible for so many things that I don't think she could ever be redeemed. Doesn't make you feel better. Not really.
I don't have access to my clinic anymore. I'm gonna need a few supplies.
Okay, great. So, do I look like Postmates, or...?
No, nor do you look like a doctor, which is why I'm so safe with her right now. Unless
Come
you
on,
give us
Luke.
a shot, you know, put her life in your hands just for funsies.
She wanted you for her army. Survival instincts would make you an excellent fighter and advisor.
Sophia in love with her
And what
until she was jealous.
she was in love with you.
Okay, well, love isn't ownership.
It can expunge toxins, pathogens. This simple flower is a
Would it give her her memories back?
and it's my birthright to protect it.
Because Alice definitely seems less deranged in these visions,
On occasion, word of a mystery
which maybe means the lobotomy aggravated her craziness.
Turns out Mary was operating an illegal medical clinic out of a church basement.
Really?
You're so bad at lying.
My God.
Oh, has Coriana already got it back?
This kryptonite gives a worse hangover than $2 tequila.
Good news, I got to drive a Batmobile. Bad news, The wipers button and the rocket launchers look very
Oh my god, Mary.
label this.
What did you do? I am not going down without getting justice for both of our moms.
Let's just get some more
It's
fluids
not
in
justice
there,
to
and then
an eye for an eye.
Let's just hope they didn't find the map that Roger stole.
It has to be
I
around
mean, if
here.
they left, they probably did, unless they spotted you guys coming.
Bingo.
Seriously? Did they not even look for it? They destroyed it.
I can't stand losing another daughter like this.
I know. I can't stand you, but your pain over your children kills me.
It's because I can't forget moments like that.
There's our Alice.
And don't. She's your sister. She will spend every waking moment trying to fix it, to fix you. And she can't. Only you can do that.
Very true.
You got desert rose hips. I'll plant them, nurture them, feed them blood so they bloom. Pretty
Ooh.
soon, all of mankind will have its miracle drug, and I'll have money to travel the world.
You're not supposed to have those.
He was the one that came up with the plan to leave. It wasn't Alice. I love it.
Then I want you to come with me.
This Alice is not a mass murderer, so, you know, I can understand that. See, this Alice was savable, and it makes me so sad. See, she would definitely tell the story if she thought she was going to hurt Alice.
That's your big mic drop moment. Surprise! You killed your soulmate.
She wants the full story here.
The neighborhood with the high moisture level, north side by the water.
Wait, what?
He'd have to block out his windows. Wouldn't want
She's
sunshine
good at
out, and
this.
He'd have to draw a.
I can't let you kill Alice.
Do you love your mom?
Of course I do.
Do you believe in what we do here?
You know I do.
And I am not leaving here without getting justice.
Ryan.
You can step out of my way and let me do my thing, or I can go through.
Knock her out, tie her up, and take her to Gotham PD. All the crows.
Teaser and Dinah.
Is that why Alice is as crazy as she is? Oh.
Sophia, we both know this isn't about a stupid.
I'm going to visit a punishment upon her that fits the crime. Find Enigma. Bring her to me.
Ooh.
I will take what's most precious to you.
Wonderful.
Mother. Who's Enigma?
A hypnotist. She
Ooh.
wants to screw with our heads.
You're
I
not
mean,
sick.
a hypnotist, can you undo that, right?
Just a broken little girl who sought a fairy tale persona of yours, and you're going to imbue it with fury. You will build your own army. You will become your own queen. And you will carry out the
So Sophia is behind Alice. Whoa. I forget the fact that she made her forget Ocean. This Alice wanted revenge, or wanted Kate to be sorry. She wanted revenge on Catherine. She had a lot of anger and rage. But this Alice wasn't that far away from Beth. Sophia getting her hypnotized, that poses a really interesting dilemma in how guilty is Alice. If you can reverse the process and get back to this person, is this person guilty if she was forced to do it by a weird but then she did still do it. It's very intriguing. If we can undo the Alice persona, then maybe there is someone savable in there, because the person that was behind all of her crazy hijinks and her serial killing wasn't her who she really was, it was who she became. So if you can't undo it, then tough, she just needs to go to a mental institution, maybe not Arkham. Interesting. And Sophia is the one we need to punish for the mass murdering, because she caused it. She said that, you know, Alice was almost a gun she used to fire into the crowd. It's interesting.
Cobblestone streets in the harbor.
She's seeming more Beth-like, or less crazy Alice-like.
She's gonna die.
Mary, where is Ryan?
Oh my goodness.
You killed my mom, and now I'm here to kill you.
You're kidding, right? What this is about?
My mom was cold.
Ryan.
Your gang?
Ryan, you're not in the state for this. You could have brought like a trank gun and tranked Alice and then... Oh, this is where she was in her dream.
I wasn't the one who killed her. Your army did.
Ryan! This isn't the girl I raised.
Oh.
But she killed you. You're not worth it. You'll never
Mm.
be worth it.
Yes, Ryan. That's far more damaging to Alice than you'd care to think.
Everything's your fault. Now leave.
Oof.
I realized killing her would only make me more like her. Kind of went along with what you guys were saying.
So where is she?
I let her go.
What? Okay, there's not killing, but there's still apprehension.
Yes.
We need her to go to Coriana. Put a tracker in her boots.
Yes.
We follow her. We find Coriana. We save Kate.
Yes, please.
And we get you the desert rose.
Yes, please. I love the show. Alright, so this was a fantastic episode. I did the second half, I enjoyed more than the first, but I think the first was really building the blocks for the second half. So much happened. I will start with Alice, which I've been very clear that, in my opinion, if Alice is a villain, she doesn't have 10 seasons worth of plot in it, it would get old, especially kind of like Luke said, or sorry, not like Luke said, although apprehending, yeah, kind of like Ryan was saying with, you know, we're the good guys, yet we just keep letting Alice roam free, and that's sort of the dynamic we have, is, you know, the characters have a little run-in with Alice, they quit backwards and forwards, then she just wanders off, and that would get old. But what is just, to me, I love it, because through the course of this episode, I was thinking, like, this girl we're seeing that is me talking with Ocean, and yeah, she's full of rage at Catherine and at Kate, and just is the embers of the Alice we know. She's very sane. She doesn't want to have a blonde dye job / wig. She doesn't want to dress in that eccentric way. She doesn't want to be Alice. She doesn't talk in the Alice way. She talks far more like Beth. That girl, had she been found on the yacht by the Hamiltons, say security, and been arrested, and they figured out who she was and was given proper psychiatric care by her family, who were thrilled that she was back and, you know, could just love her, would have been okay. She wouldn't have ever been, you know, the girl she would have been without the trauma, but she would have been okay. She would have survived it and got through it and got to have a life. And sadly, she was found by Coriana, and Sophia. I mean, I was just thinking Sophia had taught her to be as manipulative, but it is just that Sophia had her brainwashed, her brain altered with hypnotism to be a worse version of herself. She brought out all of Alice's darkest parts. She kind of took Alice's trauma and made it her identity, which, for someone that loved her, supposedly, Sophia does not know what love is. Like, okay, yeah, you can be mad at them for wanting to steal the Desert Rose. The fact that his plan was to take the Desert Rose and Alice hadn't exactly been like, no, we can't do that. She was going to go with it. You could be mad at them for that and kick them off the island without the Desert Rose. But her actions were that of like a woman scorned. But that she's not someone that knows what love is. She's only someone that knows what possession is. And she saw something in Alice that she thought she could love, but she wanted to possess her. And if the people under her don't say yes, ma'am, yes, queen, no, queen, she destroys them. So Sophia is actually even worse than I thought. I mean, I say she's not, in a sense, she's not even worse than I thought, but the fact that Tatiana made a compelling case for her having loved Alice, and we could kind of see that in how angry she was, that she destroyed her. And it's interesting to me that she didn't do anything similar to Ocean. Ocean pretty much was just living his life as Ocean. You know, the man who was the one that was stealing the Desert Rose. It wasn't even Alice. Like, I genuinely thought initially that Alice was going to have been the one to choose to steal it, and she did manage to steal some. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but she kind of just let Ocean off easy. Like, yeah, she made him forget the woman he loved, but they'd known each other for a couple of months. It's not like they were, I mean, I think there's a potential future there, I don't know, but it's not like, you know, they had 3 children together. So I think, like, her reaction was terrible. Like, if she's gonna mess with Atlas, she shouldn't mess with Ocean too. Maybe made him think his name was C. I don't know, what am I on about? So I think it's very fascinating to me that she dropped them in the same place as well. I mean, there was a chance they would just bump into each other, especially if they were both ended up running in criminal circles. I mean, the minute they came across each other, they got memories, so that could have happened naturally. But I find the concept that Alice, the Alice we have known, all of the crazy, the cold, the lack of warmth and love, the fact that when it comes down to it, she's so quickly able to extinguish any flickers of love she had for Kate. You know, yeah, Kate double-crossed her and helped her be arrested, but she's a serial killer, so, you know, like, at the end of the day, I think Kate was doing that believing it was for her own good, and I've always thought that yes, Alice will never thank you for it, but it's a bit like staging an intervention for a drug addict or an alcoholic. In the moment, they're furious at you. How can you do this to me? I'm fine. I know what's right. How you don't love me. But if you get them through the other side of the progress, they will thank you for it. So I think it's fascinating to me if when Alice, her rage at Catherine Hamilton was very strong, but I think Ocean had actually helped her see it. That, yeah, I don't agree with what Catherine did at all, and I think she's definitely, we know now, was involved in many shady things beyond that. I don't think it was the right choice, the right call, but I do think she did it out of kindness, in a sense that she truly believed Beth was dead, that there was no way she could be alive, and so she did it to try and help them heal. I never thought Catherine did it just while, you know, twirling an evil moustache and cackling. You know, she did it out of, in her mind, the right thing to do, but she was very much someone that always thought she knew best when she didn't. So I think Alice could have got to a stable place, maybe even shaken off the Alice identity. And even if she didn't want to go back to being Beth Kane, even if a part of her could never go back to that life, could never face Catherine given what she did, could never forgive Kate for not having a twin second tingly sense to know that she was through the door, she could have taken on a totally new identity, a new name, and been happy, or she could have found a way back to them. And so the fact that Sophia altered everything about her, that brought out, you know, she used Alice as a coping mechanism, and sure, when she was a kid she definitely got a little bit carried away with it, that's how she survived, but Sophia, this just made her who she is. She made her into someone that could kill without a second thought. She made her into someone that, I mean, yes, I believe that after the trauma she underwent with the psychopath that she was living with when she was a prisoner, as a child and growing up, I don't think Alice had any great qualms about killing. I think, like, if it came down to it, she would just kill someone if it was like me or them. But at the same time, she wouldn't be Alice, and that's so fascinating to me. And a line I find really interesting is the line when she said to Ryan, "It wasn't my fault." Was she meaning, in her own mind, none of this was my fault? Or was she meaning, is there some greater story behind what happened to her mum? I mean, oh, it's just interesting. So that was 2015. So I don't know timeline-wise how that works, but Alice can't have been in Gotham overly long at that stage, so maybe she didn't have a full control over her gang. It's interesting that, what was it, the previous tenant or the landlord or someone they were going after? I don't think her mum was secretly into anything evil. But with Alice, I think, again, it's such an interesting concept of how culpable is she. If we find out for sure that this enigma was able to go into her mind and twist it, is Alice if we are able to reverse that, if it's just knowing the truth is going to begin the reversal process, or more hypnotherapy or something was able to reverse it, if we were able to undo some of it, would that person be guilty of Alice's crimes? It's such a fascinating concept, and I think that would be such a good plotline to go down, especially if we don't have the sisterly relationship. You know, we don't have the thing where, okay, yeah, she's terrible and she killed your mum, but she's my sister kind of thing. But just to kind of have that thing of, there is a good person in there still, and we could get to it, and that person was brainwashed into it. I mean, I have a curse in many TV shows that my favourite character tends to get brainwashed temporarily, and I truly believe that if you get your brain altered or taken over by someone else, you're not responsible for those actions. And yeah, people tend to struggle with the guilt of it all because I remember doing it, but this is slightly different, but it's also not, if we are able to reverse it. Now, I'm just going on about reversing it. I don't know if that's possible, but I definitely think that while she was around Ocean, the way Alice was talking was a lot less Alice-y in the way we've come to know. She was using a lot less of her dramatic expressions. A little bit of that came out when she was with Ryan, but at the same time, I think her entire worldview has been shaken. So this is the most excited I've been about Alice in a while. I have found that I was intrigued about the Ocean stuff when it came up. I thought it was a really good way tying her with, I mean, continuing to tie her in with Sapphire and giving her all this backstory would help keep her relevant to the plot. I mean, I know she's one of the main characters, but losing Kate kind of lost the tie there, if that makes sense. I'm really intrigued by this. I hope they do something exciting with it. I think if they do something where she is able to, the others are able to learn about the hypnotherapy sample, maybe they're all going to meet Enigma, that could be a terrifying thing. I don't know, if they reverse it somehow, characters, and she does become a more likeable person, characters like Mary and Ryan, who Alice has done irreparable harm to, how would you cope with that? If the person that hurt you, they were sort of not in control. I don't know, I think she'd have to do a hell of a lot of toning. I'm really intrigued about this possibility, and I don't want it to turn into, in 5 episodes time, she's back to quoting Alice in Wonderland and nothing has changed. I think this needs to be a huge revelation for her. I'm intrigued about what her plan is going to be now. Obviously, she could have killed Ryan when Ryan kind of stopped attacking her. She could have kept it attacking, but she just was, I'm done with this. So I'm really intrigued now with Alice, what her story is going to be. Obviously, she's going to Koreana, and hopefully everyone's going to get to follow her. I don't know, is she going to want to kill Kate now? With everything she's learned, would she still want to see Kate kill Kate? Or, I mean, I hope at the very least it would be free Kate, know where Kate is. If I change my mind, I can come back to kill her in the future. But I feel like, if anything, to know that Sapphire had not just taken away the memories that you fell in love with a guy, but that Sapphire altered her brain, made her a prisoner in a way without her even knowing it, took away her agency, her... it's blowing my mind right now, and I'm really worried I'm reading too much into this, and when we get to the future episodes, nothing's going to change with Alice. But I'm so intrigued, because how would I feel if I found out that my love of, okay, it's not equivalent to being a serial killer, but that my love of TV shows and the amount I invest in them and the characters was because somebody hypnotherapied me and took away my free will and made, like, would could I still do it? Like, I'm just so intrigued. So I'm really enjoying Alice's plotline again. Then I'm intrigued as well, because obviously she's going to Koreana, where Kate supposedly is. I know I had some people be like, oh, Ruby Rose is definitely going to be in a couple of episodes, however other people be like, oh, she burnt her bridges, there's no way she's going to be in it. I'm intrigued. I think for the fans, it would be best if she could be in it for at least an episode. I don't entirely know why Kate would leave. Again, I don't know. I mean, is she not going to be on Koreana? Is Sapphire going to be like, look, I didn't have her, I just went with it? I don't know. But hypothetically speaking, Kate could be around in the next episode. I mean, they could just recast her. And just not Batwoman, just recast her for half an episode. Say they did the face swap thing, which would be very sad for Kate. But, you know, I don't know, I'm just intrigued about whether we're going to potentially see Kate. So Ryan, hopefully Alice never changes her boots or her socks. She changed her outfit, but hopefully she left her shoes on. I'm just excited now. Ryan obviously is still suffering from the kryptonite, and I think it was a really cool way we kind of saw it going into her brain, and the fact that it tapped into all of her memories. And I think I was sort of thinking, oh, she's loopy, she's lost it, she's going to Angelique. But she was going to Angelique as Batwoman because she needed information. She wanted to get her revenge. But I love the fact that when it came down to it, she couldn't do it. Because I think it is one thing to say, that person was wrong with me, I'm going to kill them. It's another thing to kill them. And I love that she pictured her mum, and it would not have been what her mum would have wanted for her. I mean, Luke is kind of right in that, like, hypothetically, if we were not worrying about Koreana and Kate and everything, knock her over the head, tie her up, take her to Gotham PD. That is the correct thing to do, but obviously she's using her to get to Kate, which is what they've been trying to do. And I think that's going to be a really pivotal moment. The fact that Ryan has made that choice, I'm so proud of her. And as well, I'm just proud of her because she gets where they're coming from now. She gets that Mary being hesitant about killing Alice doesn't mean she doesn't love her mum, doesn't mean she's not angry at Alice and doesn't blame Alice. There's just so many rich things here. Ryan as a character is fascinating. It's just such a rich character. I love her. Angelique, I still have my red flags over. I'm still not a fan of. I would like to root for her in the long run, but we will see. I still love Luke. Luke and Mary's banter is everything. I still ship them. They had a couple of, like, I feel like last season they were teasing the idea of them as a couple. This season so much has been happening that they have not been able to they haven't carried on with that. I still think they'd work really well together, but I'm also not going to be like, they should be together. Just say I enjoy their scenes together, even as friends. Jacob is still falling apart. Understandably so. Like I said, there are so many aspects of that man I don't like. I hate the Crows. I hate what the Crows stand for. I think, like, with the money and the resources he had, he could have made a police force that was genuinely out there to protect everybody in Gotham, regardless of their income. and he did not. So I don't like that with Jacob at all. Mary Hamilton, Mary, I'm sorry, I was about to badmouth you. Catherine Hamilton clearly was into some dodgy dealings and he was able to overlook those. And he's very, instead of talking with his daughters and sitting down with them and explaining why he doesn't want them to do things, like why he didn't want Kate in the Crows, why he didn't want Mary to do her clinic, he just kind of gets all, I am dad, I know best, I say this and you do what I say, I know best. And it's just like, you love them, talk to them. But the thing that really gets me, and I think it's a testament to the actor, is his love for his daughters will kill me every time. In the same way that I did not like Catherine Hamilton, the act of her sacrificing herself for her daughter kills me. Like, you can see how much he truly does love them and how much it is killing him to have lost Kate. If he were to learn that there was a potential glimmer, that there was some shred of Beth in there, ugh, he could still make me emotional. Sophie is stuck still in a weird limbo between the Crows and what's right. Is the only way I can put it. I think Sophie has a genuine idealistic view of the Crows. Sophie went into the Crows in the same way that Kate wanted to go into the Crows, thinking I could do good here. But I hope as she realises more and more that the Crows is not an organisation that is currently doing much good, I hope she's going to be able to turn that around or leave and do her own thing. But yeah, I love it so much that Jacob found out that every single person in his life that he trusted was lying to him because he's a moron. Because they knew he would try and shut things down without talking it through, without considering everything. You know, what he needed to do regarding the clinic was sit down with Mary and say, okay, yeah, you're an adult, so I'm gonna give you a chance to explain your piece beyond our little argument we had. Because it's so hard, because I can totally agree that if someone were to die as a result of Mary giving them treatment, it could destroy Mary's life. It would be, her lack of training very much could put that at risk. But I'm sure, Mary only did great surgeries and things when it was life or death. So I don't know, I think like he needed to talk about it with her, and it's not as black and white as he makes it out to be, especially in a world where you don't have universal healthcare. But yeah, I'm baffling away. I'm still so intrigued by Alice. I love Mary still. I love Ryan. She's just been a delight. I still miss Kate, but Ryan is such a brilliant character to fill her shoes, or at least, wear a similar sized pair, and I love it. So yeah, this was a brilliant episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.